Welcome everyone, and it is lovely to see you. So we're going to start this morning coming into a comfortable seat. So just take a moment to arrive there. And then when you're ready to, just draw up your shoulders up towards your ears so you're losing your neck. Now breathe in once you're there and draw your belly in. So you're really kind of holding, constricting everything. And then out breath, letting your shoulders relax back down. Now breathe out all the way to the end of the out breath, then a little bit further. Another in breath, shoulders rising. Draw the belly in. And out breath, easing back down again. Now another in breath, take your arms to the sides of the body and just let them rest there, hanging in space. So fingertips are out to the sides. Breathe in and draw the arms back a fraction. Turn the palms up. Another in breath, arms floating up. And out breath, rotate hands to the heart. In breath from the heart, taking the palms away from the body, breathing in. And out breath, drawing back in, gathering up into the heart again. Another in breath. And into the out breath. And your eyes shutting at the end of that. And do bring your hands to the floor if it helps to give you a little bit of lift. You can rest them on the lap, on the knees. Just feeling the spine drawing upwards from sitting. And from the base of the spine, as you breathe in, allow your breath to rise up through the body. Imagine a cylinder from the base of the spine up to the crown of the head. And as you breathe in, you're filling up that cylinder, up to the crown, and then it can overflow like a fountain and pour back down again. Take another few rounds of breath. Your mind does wander off. Just draw it back to the breath again. So your breath becomes like the compass, the mast, and the anchor. And eyes opening again. And we're going to come round and stretch out the legs out in front of you. So with the feet out in front of you, the toes flexing up, just shuffle the weight away from each side of the sit bones so you feel really firmly anchored down into the sit bones. In breath, your arms can float up, or you can rest them just by the sides of the body and find that sense of lift up through the sides of the body. Deep in-breath in. Take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Another in-breath. Breathe in. Now out breath, folding forwards, but think about that cylinder along from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. And just let that stretch out, lengthen out as you come into a forward fold. Hands can come down to the legs or the knees, and then bend your elbows a little bit. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, take your hands to the right hand side of your legs and start to walk them around and to the sides. Just taking you into a gentle sort of a twist here. Just make sure you don't lean too far forward, so keep the spine relatively upright here. Imagine you're playing the piano. Anchor both sit bones. Take one more round of breath. Keep the toes flexing up if they've kind of wandered a little bit. And then take your left arm around to the left-hand side of the body. So hands at both sides of the body here. Now just shrug out your shoulders a couple of times. Then a light touch of the fingertips on the floor and draw up the spine again from the base and into the crown. Now a few breaths to fill up that cylinder from the base of the body up into the crown again. One more full round of breath. And take your right hand around to the left-hand side of the body. Both hands together, just by the side of the legs. Draw the spine up a little bit, and then you can walk the spine around with the hands to the left. Now again, keep the spine relatively upright. Take one more round of breath there. And hands back to the legs. In breath, breathe in. And just take your elbows to the sides of the body. And a bit like you are a bird, of a poultry-like variety, just let your elbows move a little bit from side to side. A deep in-breath, hands to the heart and out in front of you. Breathe in. And breathe out, gather back up and into the heart. Another in-breath. Into your out. This time, palms away from the body, push the air away, breathe in. And out breath, hands coming down, palms still away. Bend elbows, look forward. And then palms resting on the legs and breathing out. Now in your forward fold, how much can you let your spine soften? The elbows soften, the shoulders soften, backs of the legs soften, and your breath soften within all of their structure of the body. One more round of breath. And we'll slide hands back up and to the tops of the legs. So come around now, and we're going to come onto all fours. And arriving on all fours, take a moment just to align the legs so you've got symmetry between legs and hands. And you've still got, then you can find this cylinder of the spine running from the base of the spine out to the ground. And the rest of the body is balanced around that and situated around that column. Out breath, bending the column upwards towards ceiling, let your head hang. And we'll take a few breaths here with the spine curving upwards, head hanging low. Tuck your chin into the throat. The next round or so. And then breathing in, tilting your pelvis, that starts to lengthen. The spine will move through the shoulders. And you can keep a gaze out in front of you. Soft gaze, and we're holding there for a few breaths. Into the next out breath, curving up the spine again, chin to the throat. And then an out breath, bring the toes together. So you're sitting back on your heels, forehead down to the floor. Letting the breath enter into the body, leave the body quite freely. Another few moments. And arriving back to all fours and into cat and cow. So moving now with your breath, from out breath into the in breath, and back through again into your out breath. Let your spine follow the flow of your breath, and your breath following the flow of the spine. Your next round of breath, pausing all fours, keeping the pelvis lifting. Start to walk your hands forward until you're drawing your sit bones back and up towards floor, forward to the floor. So I meant to say sit bones up and back towards the sky there, you're forward to the floor, not both. another 5 rounds of breath to ease into this shape, to relax into the body. And then sliding your hands back in onto all fours. And we'll just come up to down dog for a moment, or else come up into standing, John. Toes tucked under, knees bent, drawing back and up into the sit bones. Give yourself more rounds of breath. And just feel both feet now equally on the floor. Feel that sense of connection between feet and your mat. And then deepening that connection between feet and mat, then take the connection down to the earth beneath you. Feel yourself glued to the earth. Round a breath. And then coming up and into standing. Feet together and a deep in-breath, lifting up. Spine lifting, arms can float up. And out-breath, palms coming to the heart. Both feet hips width apart from one another, hands at the heart. In-breath, palms away from the heart. Breathe in and breathing out. Few rounds here. One more. Pressing now down the air, down to the base of the body, as your hands travel down. And you're taking them to the sides of the body, palms facing out in front of you. Eyes shutting. Let the weight of the body settle into both feet. Now lengthening out the cylinder from the base of the spine, up and into the crown. Palms turning to the sides of the body. And bend your knees. Keep your eyes shut, they are. And bending your knees, sink down as low as you can into your chair. Imaginary chair behind you. And your eyes opening again. Now in breath, arms floating out in front of you. And we'll take the arms out to the right hand side into a twist. Take your right arm under, your left arm up and back to the other side. Left arm under, right arm underneath and out. Crossing over, left arm over underneath, right arm underneath to the other side. And you're moving now from side to side. Almost like you've got wings here. Your arms are flapping a bit. Keep sinking down into the knees. Have a couple of rounds. And then both arms coming up and over the head. And now find your way into a forward fold. The legs can straighten a little bit and your spine will just hang under its own weight. And you'll take a deep out breath through the mouth. Then another in-breath, starting to ease up and into standing. And hands coming down to the hips. Now feet stepping a little distance apart from one another now. Toes still pointing forward, so the inner edges of the feet are parallel with one another. Now ease into the outer edges of your feet as you do that. Breathe in and lift up into the cylinder, running from the base of the body up the center line into the ground. Keep filling up that cylinder each breath. Another in-breath, lift up. Belly to spine and letting your spine tilt forward, hinge forward, and your hands can slide down your legs towards the feet. Bit of bend through the elbows, breathe in, look forward. And out breath, folding down into a forward fold. Just breathe your way into the shape here, another few rounds of breath. If you look down at your arches, make sure they're not too flat here. See if you can anchor weight on the outer edges of the feet so the arches can lift a little bit. Another round of breath here. Fingertips to the floor in front of you, breathe in, bend your knees, and then turn your heels in a flexion. So your heels in a flexion, so your toes are pointing out. In breath, you're lifting up, you're arriving into goddess. Now just make sure you're anchored down in the feet. In breath, arms can float up. And out breath, arriving back into the heart. In breath from the heart, offer the hands away. Breathe in, breathing out. Another few. One more. And we'll take one more. Hands back in, straighten up the legs, and just walk the feet in a flexion, then toes out again, hands coming down to the knees now. Now turn your gaze over to the right hand side, so you're looking out past the right shoulder. Breathe in, breathing out, scooping the body over to the left hand side. Breathe in again as you look out to the left, and over to the right. In breath, look behind. Out breath, travel over through the front of the body to the other side. couple more. Back to the center line. Lift up, straighten the legs. Nice feeling. And then walk, pigeon toe, walk the feet back in until your hips width apart from one another. In breath, arms floating out to the side of the body. Breathe in. Take your palms now up to the ceiling. Just feel that lift through the spine and then settling the weight back into the feet. In breath, palms floating up. Out breath, back and into the heart. Bending the knees a little bit, coming down to the base of the body. Breathe in, lift up the knees, lift up the arms, draw up the spine, all the way up above the head. Out breath through the mouth. Sink everything back down, the hands, the knees. Breathing through the mouth. Another in breath, lifting up. And breathing out, easing back down again. Another in. And into out. Another in, breath gather up. And out breath, taking the palms away from you. Big circle of the arms, either sides of the body. Sink down into the feet. Keep the gaze soft. Your out breath can just flow from the body through the mouth. And arriving into a forward fold. Let your spine hang down in that forward fold with a few rounds of breath. Bend your knees if you'd like to for the last couple of breaths. So the front of the body will get closer to the fronts of the legs. Then John, if you find your way down into all fours or sitting, otherwise come back into down dog. Sit bones lifting, drawing up and back. Look out past your knees and we breathe out through the mouth. Next round of breath, straighten your legs in your down dog. And we're arriving down and onto all fours. And from all fours, we come back into child, arms out in front of us, forward to the floor. your next round of breath, coming up to sitting, and then either sitting on a cushion or else, if you've got a block to hand, you can take that and put it either just on the shins and say you're sitting back on the block, or else you may want to just separate the knees a bit and the legs, put the block like a little runway, and you're sitting down on it in between. Your shins are just kind of curved out either side of that block. Breathe in, either arms on the knees or lifting up the arms, taking the arms out into a twist to the right hand side. Now, even though you're in a twist, still keep the sense of the cylinder of the spine lifting up from its base. Drawing upwards as you twist. Right arm will come up and over to the left knee, and then left arm lifting up and take it down behind you into twist to the other side. And bring your spine back to the center line. So coming off the block, but do keep it to hand here. Legs stretched out in front of you. You may want to sit up on the block here, just behind you, to give a little lift to the sit bones. Legs out in front of you. In breath, right knee drawing up and into the chest. Now breathing in, the foot's just lifted, lift up through the spine. Next round of breath, and the right foot connects to the left thigh, somewhere along the left leg. Do put something underneath that knee. Again, you might want to use the block just to support the knee a little bit. Angling the pelvis down the length of the left leg, arms floating up, breathe in. Lift up into the cylinder of the spine, and out breath, stretching out that cylinder as if you want the crown of the head to lengthen out past your toes. Breathe in and breathing out. Next round of breath, hands to the left hand side of the leg, and you're walking hands out over to the left hand side. Again, keep the spine relatively lifted, and you're riding into a twist to the left. Spine back to the center line, and you're lifting up. So just taking the right knee back to the chest again, right foot hovering off the floor, lift up into the spine. And then hands onto the back of the right thigh, stretch out that right knee, take the right knee back in, out again. We'll do one more. And then right foot down to the mat. So left knee coming up and into the core. Few breaths lifting up into the spine. And then left foot anchoring into your right thigh. Just make sure it's comfortable there. Right toe still flexing up. In breath, we lift up the spine. Really do lift up into the cylinder of the body, trunk of the body. And out breath, a folding down towards the right foot. Remember to keep stretching out that cylinder of the spine. Don't let the cylinder curve over. Keep lengthening it out. Keep your gaze past the foot. You'll help the lengthening through the spine and through the neck. Next round of breath. And hands to the right hand side of the right leg. And you're starting to walk them around into a twist. Again, the spine's relatively upright here. Just pausing when you feel to. Few breaths here. Take one more round. And then hands back to the right knee. And we're bringing the left knee now up and into the chest again. A few rounds of breath there. Hands underneath the back of the leg. Stretch it out. Draw it back in. Spine lifting as you do this. One more. And the left foot can come down to the floor. So just ease the spine forward, hands coming down the legs towards the feet. Feet can relax and point away from you. And then hands sliding back up again. And hands coming back up again. You now bring your soles of the feet together, a little distance away from the body. Hands can just come down towards the toes and just clasping the feet however feels comfortable. Soles of the feet together. Now in breath, the spine lifting. The neck relax here, the head relax. And then breathing in, your out breath, we're going to fold from the waist, hinging forward and into forward fold. Knees and feet and legs still in the diamond shape. Following your breath, bringing your mind back to the breath. With ease the spine back up again and into sitting. Take your knees up to the center line, stretching out the left knee now, and your right foot is going to come up and over the left leg. So you're hugging in the right knee now with your left arm, right arm just behind you, lift up and into twist. And then either taking this right foot up and over to the left thigh again, or else resting it on the top of the left leg, and you can lift the foot and maybe just bring it up to the crease with the hips. Now really supporting this right knee. Sitting, a few breaths. Relaxing into the sensation around hips. If you feel any discomfort at all through the knee, do just bring it immediately up and then just stretch it out again. Breath also there. And then hands underneath the right knee. And we're going to align it back out again, stretching it out and lowering it to the floor. Now toes are flexed back as fully as you can here on that right foot. Lift up. Stretch the back of the right leg all the way down your mat into the heel. And then drawing in the left knee. So again, we're going to do the same thing, just bringing the left foot either to the inside of the right thigh, whilst resting it on the right thigh. And just carrying the right left foot. And you may be able to just draw it up to the crease with the hips. Hand can come underneath the left knee to support it. Keep the right foot as aligned as you can. And a few breaths here. Lifting up into the spine. And with your next breath, then supporting the left knee up again, hands underneath the back of the thigh, stretch out the left leg. And remember that flex through the, really flex up the toes towards the ceiling of the left foot. Lower it down, keep the flex through the toes. Anchor the back of the leg down. Right leg can join. In breath, lift up. And out breath, folding down the length of the legs. Both toes as flexed as fully as you can up to the ceiling. Take your gaze out past your toes. And then hands on the tops of the thighs and sliding the hands back up and into sitting again. So soles of the feet again coming up towards one another. This time you may want to take the soles of the feet a little bit further in, so you've got them nearer towards the pelvis rather than out in the diamond shape. Hands around the tops of the toes or however feels comfortable. Elbows can iron out the inner thighs. Now just anchor down your sit bones here. And again, finding that sense of lift up through the spine. Breathe up along the cylinder of the spine. Another breath or so. And then hands around the knees, stretch them up, coming down onto the spine. And we'll hug the knees into the chest. And hands coming over the tops of the knees. In breath, we'll take the knees away from the body. And out breath, drawing the knees back in. In breath, away. And easing back in. Following the flow of the breath and the movement of the body. And feet planting down to the floor. And hands coming to the belly. And allow your knees to drop out to either sides of the body. Feel the rise and fall of the belly with the breath underneath your hands. And the next round, scoop the knees back up to the center line. Both knees together now. Arms can come out to the sides of the body. Or into a C shape. Knees will drop down to the right hand side. Take your gaze to the left side. And then over the other side. Go right back up to your center line. And taking your arms down to the sides of the body, we'll stretch out each leg in turn. And you're arriving into Shavasana. Now to start with, a few breaths from the base of the body, breathing all the way up, along the spine and out into the crown of the head. Imagine with your breath that you're clearing out some pipe work that's become quite blocked. And so really allow your breath to really ease through that, to flow freely. Another breath. And then start to bring awareness into your surroundings. Noting the sounds around you. And the touch of the body on your mat. Take a few breaths, breathing through into the body, breathing out of the body. Letting your body receive whatever breath it needs, whatever else it needs from the breath. And letting go of the old breath, really. Ready to start moving, fingertips over the thumbs. And moving toes from side to side. Breathing in, bend the knees then, roll over to the sides of the body. And then starting to find your way up and into sitting. Coming into a comfortable sitting, hands on the lap, eyes can be soft and open, or the gaze can be shut. Now following the flow of the breath up and down along the spine. Holding your gaze steady as you breathe. Whatever else is going on around you, inside you. And then, hands coming to the heart. And hands at the heart, going forwards. And closing your practice. Thank you very much, all of you.